everything on now. And good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Dalles Chamber Community Fairs. Today, our guest is Sara Crook. She is the MCEDD travel trainer. This sounds like a fun job, so I can't wait to hear more about it. I know I've talked to you a little bit about it before, but before we go to that, we're going to go around the room and have everybody introduce themselves and their organization. And in 5 seconds or less, they can do a quick soundbite. I'm going to hold you to that, Dan. So with that, let's start with Phil Brady.
Good morning, it's Phil Brady, Wasco County Commissioner. I'm a little under the weather today, and so actually I've been holding back on activities. That keeps me under 5 seconds.
Okay, thank you. Hope you get to feeling better soon. Corliss.
Good morning, everybody. This is Corliss Marsh, and I'm with the Library, Habitat for Humanity, and the Senior Center. So that's it for me.
Okay.
Hi, Sarah.
Let's go to Dan Spots.
Thank you, Lisa. I don't know, 5 seconds for urban renewal, we'll see. So we have lined up somewhere around $3.3 million in potential private investment downtown, and that's what urban renewal is all about right now. That and basically rebuilding First Street, which is failing and presents a safety issue. In order to do so, we need to expand the spending authority for the agency. That does not increase taxes. It allows us to continue to collect tax increment financing between 2026 and 2029, something that happens anyway, except right now we don't have spending authority to use any of that money collected past 2026. So there's a lot more involved than that. But if this receives support from Urban Renewal Board on Monday, and if is authorized by City Council in December, then we will be able to proceed with those projects. Mission of urban renewal being the elimination of downtown blight. And if you drive along 2nd Street, 3rd Street, you'll see some examples of blight that we would like to correct. So that's my more than 5 seconds, but not too bad. Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you. That was pretty close. All right, David Peters.
Good morning, Dave Peters, Columbia Cascade Housing, Mid-Columbia Housing Authority. No big updates other than if you know a developer, send them our way for an application, either my job or a higher level job for housing development. We're going to start looking for that pretty soon.
Okay, great. So you all know who I am, Dalles Chamber, but I put into the chat, if you missed the candidate form, it is up on YouTube and Great Scott Productions did that for us so that we could have it. And so it is there, all of the candidates that are pertinent to Wasco County, including House and Senate, and then our, of course, County Commissioner, County Sheriff, and City Council, and then Measures 117, Measures 118, and then also the CGCC bond. So those are all discussed and questions answered about those on that link. So there's that. And then I'm going to do my quick tote that the Chamber is taking a stand of an adamant, firm, stern, no other choice but no on Measure 118. And if you have questions or whys or all of that, please get a hold of me. If you are advocating along with me, I have yard signs, posters, and flyers and rack cards. This is going to be the most expensive tax for our businesses ever. And it has so many loopholes in the fine print that it's not even guaranteed to do what they're saying it's supposed to do. So please take a stand with us. And if so, then come along with Chamber and we can help you put those signs out. The ballots should have been mailed yesterday, so they should be reaching your boxes within the next couple days. So there we are on that. So we'll get off of politics and we'll go to more fun. And so Sarah, I'll let you introduce yourself a little bit while I pull up your PowerPoint and get it ready.
Thank you, Lisa. Good morning. I'm Sara Crook. Some of you look familiar to me. I think I've run into you over the last couple of years. I am a travel trainer and I work for MCEDD. Travel trainer, I just recently came up with the simplest explanation, is a bus educator. A travel trainer's most primary goal is to work with older adults and people with disabilities, hidden and obvious disabilities, to get them to ride public transit independently. But you know, that is expanded in our community to just everybody. I work with older adults, people with disabilities, the Native American community, the Latino community, and just everyone in general. And travel training can be as simple as trip planning to more extensive one-on-one work, which I'll cover here in a second. So we can just go ahead and go to the next slide. Just a quick review. I have a feeling you guys know about our public transit system. It's just a review of our fixed routes. We do fixed route service 6 days a week. So we have the Monday through Friday, which runs 2 routes throughout the city. And then we have the Sunday, which runs 1 route throughout the city. And then the Dalles to Hood River route runs 7 days a week. So that is our fixed route. And then of course, next slide, our regional fixed route service with all 4 providers. So to ride the bus independently, go ahead, next slide, can be a challenge for some folks. For me, I grew up in the 80s. I was a latchkey kid. Both my parents worked. That was the way I got to and from school, was the local public transit. For me, it's second nature. An eye-opening situation for me when I took this position is it's not second nature for other folks. Matter of fact, a lot of folks in our community are afraid of public transit, mainly because of what they hear happening, going on in Portland. But yet they still need to meet their daily needs. So you can always reach out to learn the basics or some more extensive one-on-one help. So we have 5 different or 6 different fingers to travel training. There's just the basic. You like to get to Portland. You want to know how to make the transfer. It gets a little confusing. You go ahead and give me a call and we can discuss planning your trip. And then there is some of my favorite part, which is group field trips. The most recent one I took just a couple of weeks ago was with Mid-Columbia Center for Living. They had a couple clients that have their bus passes, but really wanted to know and feel more comfortable riding the bus. So we just did one simple loop on the blue route, which I have to tell you, the blue route in the Dalles is hands down the best scenic route you can get for the Dalles, and for $1 is just a great value. To go from downtown all the way to Cirrhosis Park and back again just gives a great view of our community. And so I rode with these folks, and our bus driver, Jeff, he was amazing. He just answered their questions. There was one gentleman who rode his bike, and Jeff gave him a demonstration of how to use the bike rack. And he never really rode his bike past, I think, 10th Street. And knowing that he could take his bike and go up to Cirrhosis and ride down, he was super excited. So field trips like that, or another field trip I did was with Scott McKay and his Circles of Care volunteers. And with those volunteers, I really wanted them to get familiar with the system and be able to take their clients on the bus. And so we went to Cascade Locks for lunch, making that transfer in Hood River. And it was a great afternoon. So group field trips to show folks how to use the system and make it a little less scary. So one-on-one travel training, which I also enjoy quite a bit. I've developed a few clients now that I see them in town and they're riding the bus regularly. I run into them, we chat, and it's great. I have a client right now who is in her 60s, and all is described as just having learning disabilities. She doesn't have any, diagnosed disabilities. So She's a lovely lady. She just needs a helping hand to make those connections on making her transfers. So I'm working with her and creating cards that she can help remind her what she has to talk to the driver about, or that she can even show the driver that's her ultimate destination, because she gets a little nervous in talking to the driver. So one-on-one group transit, and then I was talking about the Circles of Care field trip, and that's those train the trainer field trips, where you go out not just with the clients, but with people from the organization to show them how easy it is so they can show their clients. And then we have the mobility device orientation. If you are at all familiar with using a mobility device, it can be a little daunting, especially if you're going to be using public transit for the first time. Folks want to be independent. They want to use public transit. Sometimes it can be scary the first time getting on the bus with your mobility device, not knowing how to use the lift or how to secure your wheelchair or mobility device. And so we can bring you into the transit agency, pull a bus aside and give you a one-on-one to feel really comfortable loading and unloading the bus, so you're able to feel more comfortable in public. Next slide. Oh, I should stop. Any questions so far? Okay. So this is just a screenshot of the greatest website we have here in the Gorge, which is thegorgetransit.com. It is our gorgetransit.com is our one-stop shop for all your bus knowledge in the Gorge. You can see the tabs there at the top, schedules. Kathy Fitzpatrick, which some of you know, she created a tab for schedules for printing, which is really nice. But then this is a view of the travel training tab. This is something we've been working on the last couple of years. We created a video library along the left-hand side, which has videos in English and in Spanish. Just the first one is the longest. It shows all 4 regional providers and the areas we go. The last one just explains how you load your bike on the bus. I'm hoping to add to this video library in the future, but I think this is a pretty good start. And then if you look at this travel training page, if you scroll down a little further, it describes the program, and then also has a form that anyone can fill out, and then it would come straight to me, and we can get in touch with you and help you out. I did forget to mention, it was on the last slide, Eve Elderwell. She is working as the travel trainer for Skamania and Klickitat counties. So I focus in Hood River and Wasco and generally the Oregon side. And we have Eve on the Washington side helping residents over there. Next slide. So that's just a brief overview of travel training. And if anyone has any questions, I'd be happy to take them.
So Sarah, you've done this and you've done a few, who is your, what's the client or the customer that you find that is actually reaching out to you and asking for this?
I'd say consistently parents, parents
Okay.
of
Yep.
older adults. I don't want to say older adults, parents with older children with disabilities. I've had autistic, Down syndrome clients.
Okay.
Also a lot of older adults who need help with trip planning, that want to use it, just a little confusing making those connections. And more recently, I have to say a lot of the schools are reaching out because of the, I want to say it's because of the presentation we made in July to the school district saying, hey, we really want to work with the students, and we have this pass program we're developing. So it's a good mix of folks.
Awesome. That's nice to know, especially some of the parents and the kids. Without that trend, that's crucial. So, out of curiosity, on the regular routes, how far out of town do you go south of the Dalles?
So there is a South County route every Tuesday and Thursday that goes all the way to Maupin.
Oh, wow. Okay.
For the city route, Monday through Friday, if you look back on the fixed route, it doesn't really go south. It just stays, it goes more east to west. And then on Tuesdays and Thursdays, it goes south to Maupin. Depending on where you live along that route, it's either $3 to $5 round trip. The goal is to go out as far as Maupin and bring those folks in so they can, it's a shopping trip or, errand trip. The bus driver will drive around to different shopping places or where you need to go. And then they bring folks out by the end of the day.
Okay. Nice.
Well, once again, what are the hours on that South Maupin trip? So they come in the morning, go back in the afternoon?
Right. So it's Tuesdays and Thursdays. And I know the bus leaves super early. I think one of the first stops in Thai Valley is like around 8 in the morning or 8:15. I'd really have to get online to look at that. But yeah, I think it leaves the transfer station around 7 in the morning. So
okay,
they have scheduled stops in South County to pick folks up, but it is also deviated. So you can call in advance if you're not able to make any of those scheduled stops, and the driver can come and get you and bring you in. So you don't have to make the actual stops that are listed on the website.
okay.
Sarah,
I'll look at the schedule.
college, Columbia Gorge Community College students make much use of it between the Hood River and the Dalles campuses?
I couldn't tell you that, but I've just developed a relationship with Marco, who recently, and he and I've been talking. He has had a couple over the summer. He got a couple passes. And it was funny. He said that, oh yeah, my students only need them for the summer, and they were coming from Hood River. And he then was explaining he'd give the passes back to me. I said, no, I don't want the bus passes back. They're for your students to keep for the entire year. And he was really impressed with that. And then I gave him a little intro to the system, and we've been connecting regularly since. Yeah.
I know that a kind of a logistical point, as I recall, CAT used to go directly from Hood River to the Dalles campus. And I think that it stops and students need to transfer at the transit center. Is that transfer fairly seamless, or is there a waiting period there between CAT?
It's fairly seamless. And if I remember correctly, when I was looking at this a couple months ago for somebody, the wait time is minimal. It's 10 to 15 minutes for that transfer.
Okay.
And it's Link. So since it's Link that does the service from the Dalles to Hood River and back again. So that's where they would have to catch it in Hood River.
So it's Link and not the CAT?
Correct. So about a year or so ago, Link received the grant funding for the next couple of years to provide that service. The Link really wanted to provide service within Wasco County as complete as they could, and CAT really just wanted to stay in Hood River County. So the Link ended up getting the grant to do the service from the Dalles to Hood River.
So I didn't know that. Is there any way that the Link could go directly campus to campus, stopping at the transit center without a connection point at the
so it's been discussed. I don't know if it would be CAT or Link, but the need for that shuttle has been discussed. And when we start talking about future routes, I definitely say, hey, remember, this has been a need that has been discussed. I think it's all about finding the funding
Yeah.
for that.
Mhm.
I know that Jesus is currently working with a contractor on the routes, the city routes and the Dalles. So I don't know if that could be folded in. I'm not really sure, but we're constantly evolving. I have to say that we've evolved a lot in the last 3 years since I've started.
Are there any things the city can be doing to make your job easier?
Um, not off the top of my head. I can't think of anything.
Okay.
But thanks for asking.
Mm-hmm. So the
And I
county,
know this isn't about travel training, and I will definitely answer any more questions. But I was also tasked in the last 6 weeks to help carry out the downtown Dalles program, pass program. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that or not, but
yeah, worked with Matthew and
that I
Johnson.
could use a little extra help from the chamber on in trying to reach all the businesses and get the word out that they get free passes, employees and residents below 7th Street.
Okay.
So that's a different conversation for another day, but I could use some help on that. So
Yeah, we'll work with you. I'll get a hold
Okay.
of you so we can
Okay.
help promote it, push it. Maybe we can do some fun video or
Yeah.
something like that to do also.
Yeah. I started doing block by block, but it eats you up quick and run out of time fast. So
Oh, yeah, yeah.
and I went through Google and I created a very detailed boundary map I'd love to share with you. So,
Okay.
but any more
Definitely.
questions about travel training?
The downtown businesses would include the county, I guess. We're located downtown for the most part.
Yeah. So when
Yeah.
I drew the boundary lines, Kathy really wanted to include the library. And I figured since we were including the library, we had to include the Parks and Rec offices. So the boundary comes up to the library, points right there at the library, and then just goes along 7 and below.
Okay. I think Stephanie would be the person in the county who could help you connect to most people best.
Okay.
I'll give her a little flag.
I know that Kathy had a timeline in doing this outreach, and so I would like to help speed that along and keep along with her timeline. So,
How about the cruise ships coming in? Are there any connections between the passengers coming off? I know they have their own dedicated bus, but there's also a lot of interest in keeping them in town more. And I'm just wondering if there's any connections being made there where we're taking advantage of that scenic route that you mentioned along.
yeah, no, that might be even a way to do some promotion there, some low cost scenic bus riding. But no, I'm not very familiar with what's going on with the cruise ships coming in.
So Amy L is the city clerk, and she receives the schedules from the cruise ships, and then Main Street is also interested in tracking that. There are a couple of different initiatives underway, and of course, the chamber as a primary resource. Lisa, not to speak on your behalf, but I will.
Sarah, I have a question.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
live on a route, but I'm in between like cirrhosis and the hospital.
Mhm.
Do I have to walk to those places or can they
So right now our
flag them
city,
down or?
so right now our city routes are deviated, which means you can call advance at least one day in advance and say, hey, tell them your location, and they can swing by and pick you up on route.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, the city buses can deviate up to a quarter mile off their route to come get folks. Matter of fact, I'm working with a family who has a son going to middle school, and they're just outside the school zone for the bus to pick them up. But they're right next to a red route bus stop. And so the bus driver can deviate to drop him off at the school, which is like a block from the nearest bus stop, to get him to school on time. So,
Do you have information at car dealerships? And the reason I raise that is I take my RAV over to get the oil change, and I'm blowing 2 hours in the process working from my phone. I'd love to be back at my office instead. And it's just a reminder thing, but first off, routes along West 6 through the dealerships?
yeah, we just stopped there at Goodwill.
Well,
oh, you mean right along? Oh, okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, right along. So
no,
picking
but
up,
you could always call in advance and have them pick you up.
So maybe I'm just thinking maybe some table tents in each one of the dealerships. So hey, I'm sitting there working my phone, and great, I'll just call up Blink and get back to my office for a couple of hours.
Well, you have to call a day in advance. So it's something you'd have to schedule.
Well,
but yeah.
you know, if I got my act together, which I usually don't, but I should be able to call a day in advance. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, that actually you could work with the auto dealers at that point when they're scheduling somebody's service, that they're scheduled that a couple days in advance.
Yeah.
And the auto dealers could tell their clients, hey, you can stay here or you can get a bus. They like to be public service. That would be, and the initiating the idea would be from the dealer.
Yeah.
And don't forget, some of the dealers have that because then they like to talk to you all the way there and all the way back about new cars or more services that they have. So yeah, so don't forget that there are some that offer. So it would be great to work on both ends of it. But double check, Dan, when you're sitting there and see if they can haul you to your office.
That's a good point.
Yes, because then they can talk to you about, oh, well, maybe you need tires and maybe this. It's marketing. Come on, don't deprive them of their marketing.
They usually do that along with coming out and telling me I need a new air filter every time.
Yes, so there you go. Anyway, yeah, but there's lots of options, and Sarah, I'll get on the calendar and let's meet maybe next week.
Yeah.
And see what we can do for some of the downtown, but also promoting the other, and then helping you with that education of if you call in advance a day or two, there is that option. Because I know there's everybody's appointments that they make for the doctors, those are months in advance. You rarely get into a doctor the same week. Sorry for the noise. I have a 6-month-old puppy who looks like he's about 10 years old. He's just big. But that is something that, they know they have the appointment. So we just need to help educate. So let's do some fun stuff between you and the chamber and see what we can do. It just sounds fun anyway. We can come up with some fun.
That might work for the cruise ships too, because if they know ahead, like they're coming into port the day before and they have somebody that needs to get to urgent care or something like that, they call ahead and say, we're docking tomorrow morning at 8. Can you help us pick up somebody and take them to urgent care?
You could call and see if there's availability. Yes.
Okay, so
yeah.
Or you can,
That's a good point.
we can do what we do. The chamber sees them walk by, and then I just go give them a ride.
yeah, well, I know I give them a ride too, but
Yeah, I get to know them that way. It's a lot of fun.
but if
yeah, we
if
can
they
get that
have
to
an
the ship.
outlet, yeah.
So that would be for the hotel managers on the cruise ships. That might be crucial information to get to them.
Yeah.
So
Sarah, one more for your radar. I don't know if you're tracking the Basalt Commons downtown residential development, but that's going through land use process and getting pretty close to start of construction. This is 116 units that will be going on West 3rd Street, right across from Sawyer's. So we'll want to keep you posted on progress on that one, looking for
To get them bus passes. Yeah, I think that was part of the goal, is including residents for that new building. And
Good. Good.
yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, I think I've given at least 2 residents passes. I've given out 17 passes so far. At least 2 of them have been residents. The rest have been employees. I've had to say no to about 3 residents because they were on 9th and 10th Street. Just a little out of that boundary.
Right.
So I'm trying, but I'm also doing everything else too. So
Yeah, it's a lot. Well, be sure to, you and Kathy, be sure to let us know how we can help in any of those efforts. We want to try to do that. I know that if we can get people to the farm stand for groceries and back home, that's crucial also. You know, we want to make sure that our businesses are supported for those who don't have vehicles. And, you know, and same with even just getting some of our other people to the other grocery stores so they can make sure that they, and I know educating the public is not an easy task. You hit 20 different avenues and someone's like, well, I never saw it. So yes, we're there with you. We should have a club. But let us help you wherever we can with those endeavors and see if we can come up with something that hit yet another demographic and helping to educate that.
Yes, sounds great.
Any other questions?
Okay.
All right.
I do appreciate, I really, I know it's early, so I appreciate you coming on and just letting us know what the services are and where you go. And I love that map. It's a little clear, and we will be actually putting the website. I think we're going to put that on our tourism website.
Yes.
So that as people come in, I know sometimes for the longest time there was the hesitation because we didn't have an efficient system in the Dalles to accommodate when somebody came from Hood River using the car-free transportation all the way from Portland. But we have a better system now, so now we just need to re-educate all those partners and all the tourism partners too, because that allows somebody to come car-free all the way, you know, and keeps the congestion down. It's efficiency, it saves fuel, but it also gives people who don't own a car a chance to visit and do that because of the systems that have been put into place. So I'll continue, guys, to work with you and see if we can, we shout it out all the time, but we want to just find different ways to do that. So
yeah. Well, in case you didn't know, you can now get to Portland in less than 2 hours from the Dalles using public transit. So
awesome. So yeah, so those are the things that we need to make sure that we have everywhere. So any questions you have for us, you can ask us too. So.
Oh, no, I'm all good for now.
Okay. Well, is there any other questions from anyone?
One more question.
Yes, go for it.
So being not a bus person, because I just jump in my car and go, but if I wanted to go to Portland, so tell me, how do I buy a bus ticket? How do I, where do I go?
So it's public transit, it's cash to driver. So you can, it's $1 to get from the Dalles to Hood River. And then from Hood River to East Portland, their bus stop at Gateway Transit is $10. So it's only $11 to get to Portland, but we do have a bus pass, which is $40 for the entire year. And that map I showed you, the regional map, it's good for everywhere on that map for a year. So you could have the bus pass, which is good for the entire year on the fixed routes, or you can pay cash to driver as you go. All the local city routes are $1, but once you get past Cascade Locks, it's $10 a stop.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just wondering because somebody says, "Oh no, you got to put on the app and use the app."
No,
And
you just
no, you can just pay cash.
you can just pay cash. You show up 5 minutes before the bus says it's supposed to leave. You can pay cash to driver. Yeah. And then I hear that a lot. I have a car. And I especially for the older adults that I work with, I encourage just going out and having lunch and learning that skill now. So when you don't have the car, it's not this new thing that you have to learn. You've got some muscle memory in there. And you can go about your life without a new overwhelming thing. You're somewhat familiar because you went and had lunch at Multnomah Falls, or you went and took a hike or something like that. So you're familiar with the bus. So
Corliss, I think we need to go have like a wine tasting party and we figure out how to get this on all the routes.
Okay,
We'll just
when's
get
the
on the
last
do
time
bus
it.
you
and go.
had brunch at
I
Multnomah
just
Falls? You can
There we
get to
go.
Multnomah Falls by the bus, and they have bottomless mimosas on Sundays. Just saying.
Oh,
oh,
Corliss, I hear a party calling our name right
yeah,
there.
I think so. I
Uh-huh.
think we need to schedule a field trip
Yes,
and
and
invite
then
other people.
we do some video while we're on it so we can help educate
That's
the
business,
Yes.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh
I see
yeah.
some fun coming. Yes. Mm-hmm.
I met a person on the chairlift who is in a ski club from somewhere in the Tualatin Valley, and on the bus home they serve wine. It's a
Yeah.
Tualatin Valley wine bus,
That's
sponsored by some vineyard somewhere.
We
The
had
sun-
yeah.
there's 3 ladies at the Sunshine Mill. They ended up getting free passes when I visited them, and that was their goal, was to go out and check out the competition by wine tasting other people's wines.
Yeah.
So
That's great. We
that
had a
sounds
gal come out on the bus on Sunday to the community concert, but she missed her bus going home because the concert ran late, and that was the last bus. So one of us had to drive her back to Gresham
oh no.
because she made the effort to come out here.
Oh, shoot.
So,
huh.
so
Hmm. Hmm.
Okay. I just wanted to check one thing. I did put a link. It is it says Chamber Organizer. That's to our calendar. I just want to remind people of one more event that it is today, and it starts at 5. It's for the Heritage Family Dentistry. They bought a practice at 12th and Dry Hollow, and it's on the southeast corner of that intersection. And they have totally redone the inside, and they're doing a grand opening today. They're bringing up Noel's Crunchy Taco Food Truck, who is also a chamber member who moved 2 months ago from Florida. And then they also are going to have live music and raffles. So it's her and her husband have poured so much into the inside of this building. She already has a full team, and she's taking new patients. She's just an amazing lady. I just had so much fun meeting her. That's the privilege and the fun part of my job is I get to meet these entrepreneurs, and her and I just clicked, and she's just so people caring, passionate, oriented. She's going to do great.
Lisa, what's that location again?
It is 1700 East 12th Street. So the corner of Dry Hollow and 12th. You have another dentist on the northwest corner, and then you have those offices on the northeast corner, and then hers is there. It's next to, it's just to the west of the acupuncturist, and
Mhm.
also KOM, KOM Investments. Okay, I'm afraid to look because they only bark when there's a critter in the backyard, and they're not supposed to be in the backyard. So I'm just not going to look. So, all right, they moved to the next window. I apologize. I am home this morning. But that is what we've got going on. I put the 2 links again. The candidate forum is there so that you can be that educated voter and be able to hear people. So I felt like it was a really good candidate forum. People answered really good questions. They were very respectful, and it
Mhm.
was very informative. And Corliss, thank you for being there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just felt, I was very proud of our community that night. Very proud of our community. So, and
Yeah,
Roger,
well, thanks for putting it on. That was just great.
you're welcome. Roger did a fantastic job, and
Oh, yeah.
Scott came to my rescue the day before, and he goes, "No, don't do that. I'll do it for you." So I asked him, "What's the best device for me to record this on so I can upload it?" And he goes, "Me." It was like, okay, we'll just go with you. It'll look much more professional. So it looks fantastic. And he grabbed everything. So everything is recorded for everyone. So the only thing that's not in there is the video that's about Measure 118. That there was some, we can't embed it into another video because it belongs to KATU. So, but if you are interested in seeing that, please let me know. It is a very good conversation between the yes and the no. The gentleman did a really good job of asking the questions and pulling information from both of them and having a fair and respectful conversation as to the what's and the hows. So, with that, if there's no more questions, I'm going to let you go, and you guys each get a little extra time, which we always are looking for in our day. But again, Sarah, thank you so much. And I will definitely send you my schedule so we can make sure that we stick to this and do this, whatever we can do to help.
Okay, excellent.
Yes. So
All right.
thank you, everyone. Have a fantastic day and have a good weekend. It's almost here.
Yeah.
And remember, support local.
Neat.
Have
Bye.
a every day. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Sarah.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks.